Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm going to hop right into this. Please hit the like button on your way in if you do not mind. I would really appreciate it. I had to push this back another 30 minutes, man, because I wanted to get all the clips and photos and everything that I need for this video. All right. So as a reminder, again, please hit the like button on your way in. That really helps the video, as videos, similar channels like mine, a lot of our videos are suppressed. As a reminder, follow me on Instagram and Twitter or X so that I can have another way to reach out to you guys, just in case YouTube is not always an option. All right. I have a question for you all. Does no one find it coincidental that at the same time that Candace Owens becomes the top podcaster in the world, not the top conservative podcaster, not the top American podcaster, not the top podcaster for women, not the top podcaster for conspiracy theorists, the top podcaster in the world, regardless of genre, regardless of country? That's a different type of reach, people. Does no one find it coincidental that at the same time that Candace Owens, who's been very critical of that one foreign nation, all of a sudden a clip of Kanye West trends? Because the way that they're selling this clip that I'm going to show you all of Kanye West with this rabbi, they're selling it as this sort of private conversation that someone just happened to be recording and got leaked into the internet. We know better than that. That conversation was scripted. It was recorded on purpose so that they can send it out into the world. And there's a reason why it went viral. All right? There's a reason for that. Because they're using Kanye West to combat the momentum that's happening in the world right now with people like Candace Owens, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a politician, and many others. Hey, Didi, watch more Black Balloon, who I'm definitely familiar with his content on Kanye at 316. That's Charlie Kirk dressed as rabbi. That's interesting. I'll go and check it out. That's interesting. But I have so much stuff to cover. I don't want to make this video too long. I know some people like longer videos. Some of you do not. I put up a poll yesterday and asked you all how you would like me to present this. And in all honesty, many of you said that you would rather see this video in video form instead of a live, because you would like a much shorter version. But this had to go into a live form, man, because the way I'm about to present this to you all is going to be surgical, and we have to do this the right way. All right. So this right here is an image of Candace Owens and Kanye West. Obviously, we know that they're good friends. Obviously, we know that Kanye West supports and pushes a lot of propaganda, a lot of debauchery, a lot of foolishness, such as coming up to award shows, showing up to award shows with this completely naked wife that I'm not going to show here. I've made several videos on breaking down Kanye West's career, the weird things he's talked about with sacrifices in the industry. Said he sacrificed his own mom. He talked about Michael Jordan sacrificing his dad. He talked about Bill Cosby. He talked about Dr. Dre. All these people having individuals close to them pass away. Kanye West has also admitted himself that he is under MK Ultra. He's been through it before, which I already believe that anyways. All right. But they're using celebrities. I'm going to show you all how they use people like Kanye West to sort of combat the overwhelming movement that's happening in the country right now, where people just aren't for the war that's happening right now, right? And I always like to play this clip right here to remind people of the way in which that they use these celebrities. And no one can say it better than this guy right here.
Just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader.
Right.
Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, right, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor.
Now, let me state this for the record. If you have not checked out my Martin Luther King documentary, I would highly suggest that you please go and watch that. It's pinned to the homepage of my YouTube channel. That is an incredible video. Many of you all may be familiar with a lot of the things that I talk about in there, but I'm willing to bet that you're going to learn at least one or two new things about Martin Luther King, who he was, the people that was pushing Dr. Martin Luther King, and what I believe. This is just my opinion. What I believe the civil rights movement was actually about. They put so-called black people, so-called black Americans as the face of it, but it was actually benefiting other people and other agendas. All right. Well, here we are 4 to 6 months since I've dropped that original version, and I just dropped a special edition or a bonus edition on Patreon. You can find the link to my Patreon so that you can watch this bonus edition and access to several other videos as well. You can find the link in the description. All right. And if you're wondering why I put certain videos on YouTube, for those of you that don't know, it's because certain things on YouTube is not allowed, and they will shadow ban your content even more. They'll demonetize your content. They'll even delete your channel. They'll give you strikes. So I'm trying to be careful here and do this the right way so we can continue to grow and spread the truth about what's happening in this world. All right. In that video, I talk about how a lot of these people are placed in front of us as leaders, and we don't really know who these people are. All right. So there's a reason why they give these people boulevards and holidays and all of that. It's a reason for it, because if they were really rebelling against, but I'm going to digress if I get too much into it. So what's the first thing I want to hop into? So I want to show you all, let me show you all the clip of Kanye West. This is Kanye West with a rabbi, and we're going to get into who this person is that Kanye West is sitting here earringly holding hands with this person. But I want to first show you all the clip first, and you all tell me what you notice. What's the first thing that you notice? As a reminder, please hit the like button on your way in, please.
Really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability. I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have me take them to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself. So I wanted to come and take accountability. Sometimes people aren't that knowledgeable about the bipolar and the cause or what causes it and the way you act when you have this disease. So it's like if you left the house and you left your kid at the house, and your kid went and messed up the kitchen and messed up the garage and messed up the living room.
What? Bro, this is one of the most earringly odd videos I've ever seen in my life. There are so many things off here. First and foremost, Kanye West, once again, dressed in all black. We talk about on Patreon multiple times what these celebrities mean when they dress in all black. Kanye West is notorious for doing it, but Dr. Dre is also notorious. If you look up any pictures of Dr. Dre, most of them will be Dr. Dre in all black. Don't believe me? Look it up. There's a reason why he's in all black. I bit my tongue. Many of the outfits, maybe I should say it that way. Maybe that was God telling me to be more careful with my rhetoric here so that I'm super spot on. Most of the times I've seen Dr. Dre in public settings, Dr. Dre is in all black. Kanye West wears all black a lot of times as well, especially when they're trying to get certain messages out. That's the first thing that I noticed, because there's also a picture that he took with this rabbi. Now, before I tell you all who this rabbi is, because that's going to take us somewhere else. Let me first state this. Anybody with two eyeballs can clearly see that Kanye West is under the influence. This man is clearly doped up, allegedly. Everything I say in this episode, in this live, is alleged. It's clearly a doped up version of Kanye. And I'm also going to say Kanye looks not like Kanye to me here. He looks weird. It's kind of the feeling I get when I look at Donald Trump sometimes. Donald Trump doesn't always look like Donald Trump to me. He looks more polished and more younger sometimes when I look at it, more thinner in the face. Like he looks good for his age. And then there's other days I see Donald Trump and I'm like, that don't look like the same human being to me, you know? Well, it's the same thing with Kanye. That dude is clearly under the influence. Just look at him. What are we talking about here? All right. Now, this rabbi that he's talking to is a guy by the name of Rabbi Pinto. All right. This is Rabbi Pinto. And when I did my research on this guy, I'm like, who is this rabbi and why was he the person that Kanye West was teamed up with to apologize? Why was it him? What makes him so important? And it turns out that this guy, Rabbi Pinto, is a pretty powerful person. Pretty powerful. How powerful? So powerful that he's meeting with people like LeBron James. And when I say meeting with people like LeBron James, I mean he's holding LeBron James's hands the same way that he was holding Kanye West's hand. Y'all have to understand something, because I know I got a lot of women that support me, especially in the so-called black community. For a so-called black man to be holding the hand of another of another man, please, please understand that there's a certain kind of psychological transformation you have to go through sometimes to just sit there and just let another man hold your hand. It has to be a pastor. It has to be someone that you really respect. Let me say that first. And like I said, LeBron is in several pictures with this guy, right? So who is this person and why is he so important? And while looking into him, it turns out that this guy is a Kabbalist. He practices the Kabbalah. We've talked about the Kabbalah multiple times on this channel, and I don't want to get too deep into it here on YouTube because it can get tricky, which reminds me, the live that I did with Kelvin a couple of weeks ago where we talked about this, I actually made it private because I didn't want YouTube to flag my video, and I'm going to just put it on Patreon. I'll make it free for everybody to watch, but I'm going to just put it on Patreon just to be careful because I don't want to lose my channel, all right? But he practices the Kabbalah. I want you all to understand something. A human being, you're free to practice whatever religion you want in America. However, a human being that openly practices the Kabbalah, and we know what the Kabbalah is, it's mysticism, it's Hermeticism. It's what many people argue, and I think they're legitimate arguments of what Freemasonry is all about, the belief system of Freemasonry, occultism. Why is this person the person you got to apologize to? Why is LeBron James? I know the answer to this already, but I'm trying to just turn the gears in your mind. Why is LeBron James meeting with this person? Shouldn't you be as far away from a person like this as you can get? While researching this person, Rabbi Pinto, let me show you a post I found. Here's what this person says. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So this person says, Rudy Rochman in New York City, meeting with Rob Pinto to discuss the nature of Judeophobia. Okay. Oh, that's so wild. That's so wild. This is supposed to be a quote unquote Christian nation. Of course, we know that this nation wasn't founded by believers of Christ, that it was founded by Freemasons. But nonetheless, this is supposed to be a country that's mostly or heavily Christian. Which means we believe in Christ. We are followers of Christ. Judaism not only does not follow Christ, my understanding is that, again, I'm not going to get into it. We know it. Judeo-Christian or a Judeo-Christian is an oxymoron. It says, discuss the nature of Judeophobia rising in intellectual spaces, especially amongst the younger generation, as well as getting a brochure for our We Were Never Lost project in Africa and reuniting, oh, wow, the larger Israelite family. Rav Pinto is a Sephardi Kabbalist rabbi who descends from a long line of mystical, great spiritual teachers and leaders. Although some may call Ralph Pinto controversial, of course he is, I do not know one person who is changing the world and that isn't called or viewed as controversial. The Rav gave many blessings that night. What do you mean blessings? And it was evident that he really dedicated his time and attention to each person who had come from Abracha. Bro, what? Why they treating this dude like he Jesus Christ or something? He's just another human being, bro. What is this? What in the world is this? But something that's more crazy that I want to show you all, outside of the fact that this guy's meeting with celebrities, is I want to show you all what Kanye West has said. Let me state this for the record. Kanye West has said many things that I do not agree with. He has said some hateful things. So I do believe that the apology that we just heard from Kanye West, there is some truth to what he was saying. I agree. Kanye West was saying some reckless things. He was. He did go too far. I do not agree with the song that he made. It was a hateful record. However, this apology that Kanye West gave, if it was really organic, Kanye West would have sounded a bit more sober and nuanced, which is to say, Kanye West would have said, these are the things that I said that was wrong, hateful, and it went too far. These things were actually anti-Semitic. These were the things that you call anti-Semitic that are not anti-Semitic, and they're the truth. And I'm going to show you all a clip where he was speaking truth. Because when you're not nuanced like that, that tells me that you're apologizing for everything you were saying over the past 2 or 3 years, which is not cool, bro, because you told a lot of truth. Let's see. Roll the first clip.
Of Universal Studios, 20th Century Fox, ABC News, CBS News, Columbia Pictures, Warner Brothers, ESPN Sports, Fox News, Washington Post, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MTV Music Television, Nickelodeon, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Comedy Central, NBC Entertainment, Google, what else do we have? Disney, ABC Kids and Family, YouTube, Los Angeles Times, Discovery Network, Paramount Pictures, Facebook, Huffington Post, Yahoo, Marvel, Hulu, Cosmopolitan, Time, Touchstone, Associated Press, Pixar, Miramax, HBO, New York Post, LucasArts, MSNBC, DreamWorks Animation. Now, the thing is, I skipped over maybe about 5 of them because it was just unclear on this list. The red are the executives that are Jewish.
Is that hateful? Is simply acknowledging and noticing that the executives of all those companies, and that's not even all of it. We're not even talking about the medical industry. We're not even talking about the corn industry, CORN or PORN. We're not even talking about that industry. What they will call this video anti-Semitic. This is not anti-Semitic to acknowledge that that the executives are Jewish people. That's not. Congratulations to you all. You all worked hard to become executives. Why would that be considered anti-Semitic to acknowledge this? Unless there's something you embarrassed about or something, or no. It's just the truth, bro. That's not hateful to say the truth. That's a lot of red. The red are the executives that are JEWISH. That's a lot of red. So when I watch this video of Kanye West apologizing without using any, speaking about it with no nuance, I said, he's being forced to do it. He's clearly medicated. And remember, like a couple of years ago, Kanye West got into a back and forth with his trainer. His trainer, we know that that's not his trainer. It's actually, I believe, everything I say is alleged. I believe that was allegedly his handler. One of Kanye West's handlers called himself Kanye West's trainer. Kanye West exposed a text message that his trainer sent him. You tell me if this is what your JEWISH trainer would be saying to you. Let's read this together. This is his trainer to Kanye West. His name is Harley. I'm going to help you one of a couple of ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words, and everything that is discussed is based in fact. Who gets to decide what fact is when dealing with some of you folks? And not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. What trainer talks to somebody like this? This has nothing to do with working out. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Wow. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. Dude, there is so much demonic energy in this text message. Second option, I have you institutionalized. How do you have the power to do that, bro? Who are you? Where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. A tweet like that comes out. Kanye West goes on this, some would even say, erratic spree for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then this drops right around the time that Candace Owens becomes the #1 podcaster in the world. And she is arguably the biggest voice, her and Tucker Carlson, that are anti that Middle Eastern country. This is the time that it comes out. And all of a sudden, we see this dude doing this.
I feel really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability.
Look how he looking. What the world? Look how he looked at this dude beside him.
Just take accountability.
Oh my goodness, bro. That is weird. That is weird, bro. He is not well, bro. It almost looks like a person after they've had a stroke. Or once they've just got a hit of that dope and they're just zombified. Look at him. Why are you holding hands like that?
I was dealing with some various issues.
This is weird. And I'm going to show you all a clip of what this made me feel like. Excuse the language. I edited the clip and I bleeped out as many curse words as possible. So we don't typically talk like this. I mean, I've never cursed a day in my life. But this is truly, and if I'm just being organic, how I felt once I saw this clip of Kanye. Let me show you all a clip of a clip that's going viral on Twitter of a guy who saw this clip of Kanye and what he had to say about it. Listen to this.
That Jews think they got that much damn gravitas to where I need to be reprogrammed and sit down with one of them rabbis, you and your rabbi. I gotta sit down and have this nigga I've never met program me. I don't know you. And then we sit down like kids listening to this lox and bagel eating ass nigga tell us about his religion. And I'm supposed to just, oh, you're right. It's her boss. I'm sorry, boss. Sorry I said something, boss. So I didn't really say anything, but I got too close. Sorry, boss. You want to talk about white people? Jews want to talk about what white people can do. White people don't have your black ass sitting down begging. Y'all don't hear me? When's the last time a white person had your black ass somewhere begging and asking for forgiveness? When the last time your ass had to learn something about Christopher Columbus, had to learn something about Queen Elizabeth? When the last time your black ass had to learn something about Andrew Jackson? When the last time your black ass had to be forced to sit down by some white man to listen about his ass and his damn Christianity and his damn Catholicism? When the last time a white man was able to punk your black ass like that because you said something about them, because you called them an animal, because you called them the devil, because you called them anything? You want to sit up there and have Jews tell you about how bad black people, white people are, but they the ones that got your ass crying and begging. And who's your real master, black folks? Who your real master? You got Jews telling you how bad whites are, but whites don't have as much power as Jews. Have you noticed they get mad when you make jokes about Jews being good with money? Why are they upset about being good with money? That makes no sense. Until you look at the context of it, that a lot of countries, they were kicked out because of how they handled money. What is the greatest trick that the devil played on man? That he didn't exist. He's not real. And the Jewish supremacy, they make sure they hide it in plain sight.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That clip right there alone is probably why this live will not be up very long. I'll probably keep it up for 24 hours. And then I'm probably going to just take this down and put it on Patreon. That boy was cooking. Like I said, we typically don't talk like that. Now, for those of you that are... Oh, yeah, and let me say this. When this video came out, Nicki Minaj, the rapper, the female rapper Nicki Minaj, retweeted this this interview with Kanye West and this rabbi. And she has the nerve and audacity to say, shout out to my brother Kanye. So glad that he was able to sit down and apologize for, what did he say? I'm glad he was able to sit down and apologize because he realized how hurtful the things that he said. Nicki Minaj. Yes, he said some things that were hurtful and some things that were false, and I agree with you to an extent. But for you to make a blanket statement like that, as if a way to say that everything that Kanye West said wasn't based in facts, you're lying, bro. You're lying, bro. The same Nicki Minaj who has an alter ego that's based in Roman mythology, that same Nicki Minaj that is openly summoning demons in her music, similar to Beyonce, that Nicki Minaj, the same Nicki Minaj that's been a part of the music industry and she has no choice but to continue the Lil' Kim agenda, where everything has to be about fake body parts, half naked, pushing destruction, that Nicki Minaj, miss me with that. Kanye West said some things that were untrue, but everything he said wasn't untrue. That clip that I just showed you all of Kanye West breaking down the executives, if you haven't watched my Clive Davis video, I would highly recommend you watch the Clive Davis documentary. We talk about some crazy stuff in that video. There's a YouTube version and a Patreon version, but I get a lot of it out in the YouTube version. You're going to have to miss me with that, bro. Straight up. A lot of you all are newer to the channel. So let me tell you something that you may not know. The very first Sasha Fierce, yeah, that's her. That's Sasha. Sasha Fierce is the alter ego for, I believe, Beyonce. So for those of you that don't know, the very first video on this channel that had over 100,000 views, the first long form video that had 100,000 views, is my video about Kyrie Irving. Do you all know who Kyrie Irving is? Kyrie Irving is a basketball player, a really good basketball player. He's a legendary basketball player. Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, now about 4 or 5 years ago now, Kyrie Irving went through a lot of pressure. You know why he went through a lot of pressure? Because he just retweeted this film. He just went online, went to Twitter, and just retweeted a film. The backlash that this man will receive is unprecedented. It's never been seen in NBA history. The film was Black owned, Black produced, and it was these so-called Black individuals that was talking about who the real Israelites were in their opinion. Them breaking down scriptures. Kyrie Irving didn't even give his opinion. He just simply retweeted it. The backlash that this man received, he got sued. He was threatened to be sued. He was suspended. He was suspended. He had to pay a fine. And every interview that Kyrie Irving was a part of from there on out was intense interrogation and harassment. And it was demonstrating the way that the media is used, just like celebrities are used, to keep everybody in line. Right? So let me show you all just a few minutes of Kyrie Irving in some interviews. Shortly after he shared this clip talking about who the real Israelites were based on the Bible and what these people's opinions were, this is the media attacking Kyrie Irving.
Idol given to Christ, Philippians 2:11. And my name translates in the Hebrew language as Yahweh. So I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what, let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh, that came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash, or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions. And my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me. I grew up in a melting pot, and I say a melting pot of all races: white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community. And what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them.
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question so we can move on from this and I could talk about the game and go home to my son Elohim and my wife Marlene, okay?
Am I to take it that this was, what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time last year to read a lot, read a whole bunch, good and bad, about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so I
We're in 2022. It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I'm no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not? Everybody posts everything else. You saw the word nigger going up on Twitter, right? I don't hear uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that. That conversation is dismissive, and it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. No, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal? Okay. No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate one specific group of people? So out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here.
A week of hindsight, are you sorry for the hurt that your post caused?
I take my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary, so I take my responsibility.
It seems like Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or you not apologizing?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
What are the specific things that you don't believe are true and that you don't believe represent your morals?
I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Kyrie Irving, I'm going to let this finish, but Kyrie Irving stood on business, bro. They were trying to bully him. And I want you all to check out the microphones. I mean, it's right here in your face. CBS with the all-seeing eye to the far right of the screen. You got ABC 7. We just talked about the significance of the number 7 in my most recent video about Erica Kirk. It's right here in your face. Look up the executives and the CEOs. Like, this is bully ball, bro. This is not fair. This is not a fair playing field. This is bully ball. All the dudes did was share the film. They want him to share the specificities of what exactly from the film that he disavows. Because what they really want to hear is, do you really believe that the Jews over there are not the real ones? So that they can really condemn him. And he answered very strategically. He said, when she asked him, what are some of the things from the film that you disagree with? And he said, I don't think it's fair, some of the criticisms of the Jewish faith. That's a fair response. But notice what he didn't say. He said some of it. That's his belief. Everybody don't have to agree with him, bro. That's his belief. Why is he not allowed to believe that? And notice, Kyrie Irving has no choice but to talk to the media. You know why? Because in their contracts, which, by the way, the commissioner is Adam Silver. Look up who Adam Silver is and his ethnicity. This is bully ball, man. It's not cool. Adam Silver, they put it in these NBA players in the NFL, all these professional athletes contracts. They have to interact or they're going to be fined a lot of money. So they have to have a weird relationship with the media where the media gets to bully them. And if you don't believe me when I say bully, watch what's finna happen. Kyrie Irving is answering their questions, but watch what's about to take place. Even after he explains everything he just said, watch what they ask him at the end.
Are you surprised that you did hurt people?
Surprised that I did hurt people?
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through, and the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community, and I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create, and it was something I shared, and I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility, then that's where I sit. So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return. Figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that is believing in that.
Bingo. That's very well said. Now notice they have no response for that, and you're about to hear that. When he say, I've seen the N-word all over the place. Why weren't you talking about anti-black rhetoric at that point? Why weren't you talking about racism at that point? They had no answer for him because they don't care about that as much. And I'm going to show you all a Candace Owens and a Dave Smith clip. They just did an interview together. And I'm going to show you all a portion of that interview that is mwah. Hold on. I want you all to see me when I do this. It was mwah. It's going to put the bow on the top of the point that we're making here. It's hypocrisy, bro. It's believing that you're more important than everybody else, and you're not. You're not. You're not. They have no response for that. He said, keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things. They don't have the same level of, when you talk about the Ben Shapiro's of the world, the reason why he can lie on Candace Owens and say she said some things as detrimental as saying that she accused Erica Kirk of taking out Charlie Kirk. That is one of the biggest lies you can ever accuse someone of doing. He openly did that knowing that he was lying, because they resort to that when they have nothing else.
So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, that I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary, you look it up, right? One of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in a book. I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower because it helps me understand where I'm going and where I come from, like a tree with roots.
Kyrie, the documentary listed among falsehoods, it said the Holocaust didn't happen. Do you believe the Holocaust
Those falsehoods
happened?
are unfortunate, and it's not that I don't believe in the Holocaust. I never said that. Never, ever have said it. It's not come out of my mouth. I never tweeted it. I never liked anything like it. So the Holocaust in itself is an event that means something to a large group of people that suffered something that could have been avoided. No one said we had to practice racism. No one said we had to treat each other like garbage. No one said that I had to stand here today and understand that many people that come from generations 60 years ago, 40 years ago, enslaved some of my ancestors still, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and it's still going on. And you guys are asking me, respectfully, to speak on something that was a documentary that I had nothing to do with. I didn't make it. So just please keep that same energy when you guys are addressing me.
Kyrie, for the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again.
Yo, did you just hear that? So he just spends all this time. I thought that was a pretty fair answer. He said there were falsehoods in the film, right? There were some falsehoods in the film. And then he starts to talk about his history, what's important to him. They don't care about that. Elf, what's important to you, buddy? We're talking about our bosses and us. We're what matters the most. So after he give this huge emotional spiel, this whole spiel, very eloquently stated, the first question out of his mouth was, so just to be clear, are you anti-Semitic? What? You still making this about you?
And I'm going to repeat, I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again, but this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want is yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I can't.
He gives a great answer, and the dude says, I think we're looking for a yes or no. That's bully ball. That's what you call bullying. That's what you do when you know you got the power to do it. That's what you do when you know Kyrie Irving is in a position, because it's easy for us to say nothing. But when you work for someone and you got a family to take care of, they can strip you of everything, bro. They tried to do it to Candace. Kanye, they'll take it from you. They'll make your life a living hell. They're sitting here on camera showing us their tactics. They'll bully you. Answer the question the way we want you to answer it. Yes or no, so that we can know how to proceed.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. That's a bar in itself. Well, it doesn't stop with just Kyrie Irving. Who's another person that this happened to? Nick Cannon. Do you all remember Nick Cannon? And this happened around the same time it happened to Kyrie Irving. A lot of people don't remember this. Nick Cannon was going through his spiritual journey, looking into history, figuring out things as another so-called Black American. Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Candace Owens, now Nick Cannon. I'm about to show you what happened to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon was going through this spiritual awakening, if you will, and looking into history and realizing certain things. But just like Kanye West, Nick Cannon is not totally innocent himself, as to say, like, it's not like he didn't play any role. Because I found out something new about Nick Cannon. I didn't know Nick Cannon wore the dress. Oh my freaking goodness. I did not know that. And if I played the video version of this and you saw how he was dancing, there is no conversation about humiliation rituals when it comes to so-called men, especially so-called Black men. The dude wore a dress on all that. The Nickelodeon show, which I loved when I was a kid. What is this, bro? What's funny about this? There's nothing funny about this. There's nothing creative about this. There's nothing artistic about this. This is emasculation. The higher ups are laughing that they're able to do this to people. Well, anyways, because this is when he was much younger. In 2020, around the same time this was happening to Kyrie Irving, Nick Cannon decided to host a guy by the name of Professor Griff. Professor Griff and Nick Cannon on this podcast are discussing history, who the real Israelites are, who runs certain industries, how the industries work, what's really going on behind the scenes. And if you ever want to know if something is organic, just listen to yourself, man. Listen to these people. In your spirit, do they sound like they really mean what they're saying? In this conversation with Professor Griff, he sounded extremely genuine. I'm not saying I agree with everything Nick Cannon agrees with. I don't. But it didn't just stop there, because Professor Griff has been blackballed from the industry for a while. Somebody I would like to have on the show someday. But Nick Cannon took it a step further, and he decided to speak about Hollywood in one of his interviews. This is what he said.
We give so much power to...
Okay. Let's do this the right way. Where is it at? What in the world? Let's see.
We give so much power.
No, this is not what I was talking about. This is not what I'm talking about. But anyways, he goes on to the Nick Cannon goes on to Vlad TV, and in one of his interviews, he's talking about Hollywood, and he said that Hollywood is ran on demonic energy. He said that he saw some things when he was working for Nickelodeon where he saw children in rooms with people that they shouldn't be in rooms with alone. He saw some things. He wouldn't go too deep, but he started talking about that, right? That's a fact. That's a true story. He started exposing all of that stuff. Shout out to a YouTube channel. I'll link it below. Shout out to a YouTube channel called Jay Marvelous. He actually just broke this down just the other day about Nick Cannon. I'm going to show a portion from his video of something that happened to Nick Cannon a year after this happened. He broke some tragic news about something that happened in his life. Let me show you all what Nick Cannon came out and shared with everybody. Just a year after he decided to talk with Professor Griff, this happened.
Today is a special one, y'all. It's like for many reasons, but it's not gonna be an easy one because I got so much to talk about. I actually haven't even shared this with anybody, really. I mean, not even the crew. I came in, today is kind of quiet, and just because there's so much going on in the world, and I had a tough, very tough weekend. But it's like So, probably before the show started in the summertime. Zen was born in June 23rd, actually. Happened the last. Oh, holding my son for the last time. But it was a beautiful setting and even to spend that whole day. It was interesting because even as I was holding him, I was still preparing my day as it normally went to come back and, come here and still, I didn't know what it was going to be. But
So we don't have, for those of you that may be confused, Nick Cannon, a little bit over a year after he had Professor Griff on and he was going on this spiritual stuff and he was talking about this stuff publicly, for some reason or the other, he actually would lose his son. Now, Nick Cannon is often joked about for having a lot of children. He has quite a few children, and he lost his son. One could say under mysterious circumstances. I'm not here to say that anybody was sacrificed, or I'm not saying that. People have their beliefs about it. What I am saying, the responsible thing to say is, unfortunately, man, he lost his son, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And you can see the true pain in this man. But what I want you to notice is he publicly came out and shared this. He publicly came out and cried about this. And it makes me wonder if this was a public humiliation ritual, since he tried to. I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to stop it there because I want to be responsible on YouTube. But around this same time, if you want to drive the point home, just like Kanye West, guess what Nick Cannon had to do? He had a rabbi on his show. Now, what I'm saying is, you don't see him doing this with Muslims. You don't see him doing this with Hindus. If he was to criticize the Hindu faith, I highly doubt he would feel the pressure to have to meet with some leader from their community. I just don't see it. What is this about? What is going on, man? If you know, you know. If you're a Patreon member, you already know what I would normally be saying about this topic, but I'm going to be responsible on YouTube. All right? What is this about, bro? Right? Because at the end of the day, to me, it almost seems like everything revolves to whoever's in power. They get to call the shots. And I heard a clip from the Dave Smith, Candace Owens interview that it's trending really, really well right now. But before I play that clip, I want to show you all a clip from the CNN Candace Owens interview. Because when we was watching the Kyrie Irving was being asked about, you do understand that this film that you shared had all these anti-Semitic tropes and these racist tropes, and Kyrie Irving was trying to find the best way to respond. I want you all to take a listen to how Candace Owens responded.
They is a word, so I don't need to always say they. It's just a weird. It's like this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
Does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this?
To always
Here's the best part.
Run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
That woman is fed up. That sounds like a person that was fed up to me. She said, and I purposely didn't edit this. I wanted you to hear the curse word. The same way that they asked Kyrie Irving, do you understand that these have these tropes? She said she don't give a about the tropes. She's saying what she believes is true. We have the right to do that in America. We have the right to do that in America. Now I want you all to take a listen to this. I mean, you talk about the bow on top to everything we've been speaking about, and to cap off this live, listen to this clip, a snippet from this interview with Dave Smith and Candace Owens, and listen to what they're about to talk about is the root of why so many people are normally blackballed in cancel culture. Listen to what Dave Smith really believes is the root of all of it.
It's incredibly rewarding for me to see you being the #1 podcast, because it shows that, like, yeah, you demonstrated that people could have the courage to say the right thing, and then the audience demonstrated that, like, yeah, and there's a lot of people who will have your back if you do that. I just think that's a great precedent to be set.
It is, and I'm so grateful, because I want to remind people, you might think of me now as anti-Israel, but when they came after my entire life, I just wanted to learn about the topic. I actually didn't have a perspective, but I knew that I didn't know everything. And they were just so vicious with, no, you have to come out and you have to say these things. And I was like, look, I don't know anything about this. Let me speak to other people. Like, I watched Bassem go viral, the clip go viral where he was holding up the chart. And I was going, whoa, that is kind of crazy. Like, are this many Gazans dying? Then I went back and I watched some old content of you on Joe Rogan speaking about the topic. Then I hosted you at the Daily Wire, and that was a big wake-up call. And I really was coming from a place, it's still one of my favorite episodes. I think they pulled all the content down, but just learning about Middle Eastern politics, I'm not presenting myself as an expert. And I think that is what also the market is responding to, is at least I want to learn. At least I am showing that I will correct where I was wrong. I was working for PragerU, Daily Wire. I was working with Zionists. I obviously had no hatred in my heart towards the Zionist cause. And then it was just asking the question. Like, I was messaging with Max Blumenthal, because, strange allies, right? And he has done some really incredible work. And I went back and I found these messages from a time where I simply retweeted Max Blumenthal on something that he said about Kyrie Irving that I agreed on. So it wasn't even about Israel. And I got messages, like, all I can tell you is, like, Agent Smith, I sent it to him. It's crazy. Like,
do you hear that? Before we continue, do you hear that? Kyrie Irving, all he did was retweeted a film that he may have liked. Maybe he didn't like it. He had no caption, no commentary. He literally just retweeted it. It was so bad that the man almost lost his job in the NBA. Candace Owens agreed with something that Kyrie Irving had said or shared. And listen to what happened after she did this.
Marissa Strait, Dave Rubin. And I actually apologized to them, because I was like, wow, this guy must literally be Hitler. Like, I didn't know. I just saw it trending and I retweet him. That's what kind of goes on behind the scenes. Like, they are actually presenting themselves as free speech thinkers. And then they put pressure on people and tell them, hey, even listening or retweeting Max Blumenthal, you may not know it. And they told me this. He's an anti-Semite. Like, he's a committed anti-Semite. Max Blumenthal. It's a different time now, and that sort of, we're going to tell you what to think and you're going to like it, is not, like, people aren't buying it anymore.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I think one of, like, there's a lot that's just been revealed, and there was a lot of things about, like, even, the conservatism Inc. online type people like Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro and even Steven Crowder, and, like, a lot of guys like this who really rose to prominence during the craziest woke years. They were kind of the figures who were speaking up against the insanity, like being like, no, actually, you're a dude in a dress, you're not a chick. And, that was necessary to some degree. It was pretty crazy what was going on in college campuses, and the whole left-wing wokeism stuff in general was crazy.
For sure.
But because that was the dynamic, and because, for whatever reason, while tons of other right-wingers were being deplatformed, those were the ones who weren't, and in fact were very pushed by the YouTube algorithm and stuff. I mean, I remember for years, I always hated Ben Shapiro, and for years YouTube was like, I know you want to watch Ben Shapiro, and I was like, I do not. I've never told you that, YouTube, but YouTube kept insisting I did. I was aware.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Well, I was aware of this because, as I've been talking about lately, because I was a Ron Paul supporter back in the day. And I remember Ben Shapiro saying like that Ron Paul wants to strangle Jews and that he's a vicious anti-Semite. And I'd be like, whoa, like, and you realize you're like, oh, it was easy in those years for them to pretend like that wasn't actually all they cared about. But actually, that's all they care about. And I mean, all they care about. And this has been revealed. This
Bingo. Now he cooking.
The thing with the neocons. This is why even the original core neocon group, they were all a bunch of commies who then became Democrats, who then became Republicans, and then became Democrats again.
Did you hear that? They were Republicans, then they became Democrats, and they kept going back and forth. The same way that you hear that a lot of people changed their last names. They pretend to be something that they're actually not, to cosplay and to gain the support of people, to trick people. You even learn people like Officer Tatum. When you show Officer Tatum the video of Kanye West pointing out all the executives behind these industries, what would somebody like Officer Tatum say to combat that? Right? What would you say? Because we know that PORN is ruining the minds, and one could argue is a big part of ruining an entire generation. The way that they think about relationships, the way that they approach relationships, the way they approach sex and romantic relationships is ruining the brains and the minds of our young people. And some could even argue not just the young people. Who is behind PORN? I'm saying the person. Who is the person that created it? Is it wrong to look into that? And to just say the answer? Is it? That's what I want to know. Who's behind something like OnlyFans? Right? Who is behind something like OnlyFans, which is just another version of PORN?
Now the backbone of the American economy, and this is the guy who runs it, and it's not good. OnlyFans is by far the most profitable company in America. The company generates $156 million per employee. Compare that with all these other companies that we think of as powerhouses like NVIDIA, the chip maker, or Alphabet, Google, Walt Disney, Walmart. It's not even close. And so just think about the implications. What happens to society when we have an economy built off of getting normal people to do and consume adult content? Well, first we get mass loneliness, where men are dropping thousands of dollars on OnlyFans to just feel some kind of human connection with women. And on the other side, the girls are getting their soul sucked out of them. This particular creator says that she feels dead inside, doesn't feel any attraction to men anymore. Yeah, men and women don't want to have actual intimacy anymore. Look at the numbers. Only 37% of adults are having sex weekly or more, compared to 55% in 1990. In fact, the lack of social connection is more deadly than smoking 15 cigarettes a day, or drinking, or not working out, being obese, and much, much worse than air pollution. And just to top it all off, the #1 donor of AIPAC is the CEO of OnlyFans. Okay, Leonid Radvinsky, the billionaire owner of OnlyFans, according to internal documents, he and his wife pledged $11 million to AIPAC, the most of anyone listed.
I mean, is Iran a bigger threat, or is OnlyFans?
That is a great question, Tyler.
It is.
You guys let me know what you think.
What are we talking about here?
And what they when they were George W. Bush Republicans, they were like, marriage is between a man and a woman, and our culture is getting out of, because they just thought that was the best way to get votes for their wars. And then when Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, they went, okay, she likes the wars, we'll go support Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Marriage,
That's exactly
gay marriage,
right.
Anyone who's against gay marriage is a homophobe or whatever. Like, but they don't actually. And so, look, just think about it, right? Why would someone like Ben Shapiro, at the very least, wouldn't he have liked a lot of things about Ron Paul? Oh, he's the most fiscal conservative guy. He's the strict constitutionalist. He's a devout Christian who, believes in traditional values. There's a million different things that you would go, oh, I like a lot of his thing. I do disagree with him on foreign policy. Nope. He's evil. As soon as you're not on board with Israel and Israel's wars, you're evil. And I think part of what happened here is that you, just by doing what you did, it demonstrated that it's not like it went from like, Candace is great. She's been heroic on all these issues. We really disagree with her on this one. It went, all of that's gone. In one day, you go from being like our favorite person who we champion, who we put billboards up on, to you are the most vicious, evil human being in the world for saying, I just had some babies and I'm seeing this mom holding her dead babies. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh my God, what would it be like to hold your dead baby? Jeez, that's horrible. Like that's enough to make, and just people seeing that, like can't pretend they're not seeing what they're watching.
Need I say more? Do I need to say anything else? Do I need to say anything else? I think the point has been driven home. Something is going on. When you can have Kanye West, the #1 podcaster in the world, who is very close to Kanye West. Candace Owens is very close to Kanye West, and she won't say anything bad about him, even though we know it's a lot that we can be saying about Kanye West and the stuff that he promotes, which, by the way, one of the things that Kanye West came out on his social media and supported and was trying to actively sell on Twitter was PORN. For those of you that don't know, that's a fact. Look it up. Was that Kanye West? Was it a sedated, drugged up version of Kanye West? Or was it somebody else pretending to be Kanye West using his social media, like one of his handlers? Right? Then we can better understand why something like this can come out. Look at him. He's out of his mind. Blaming it all on bipolarism. I have family members. I have friends that are bipolar. Yes, it makes you do and say things that you will later regret. But he was saying a lot of truth. And the fact that he had no nuance in this video proves to me that all of this was scripted. And they're doing this because they think Kanye West, a lot of people love him. They love his music. We can use him. Which leads me to my last point. If you ever wonder why you say, well, why won't they just take him out? Because he's better alive than he's not. He's better alive than he's not. Because it's hard to recreate another Kanye West with his track record, with his years of generating hits after hits after hits, and accumulate all these fans and people that love him around the world. It's more beneficial to use this asset as a catalyst or vessel to push our agenda. Candace Owens just became the #1 podcaster in the world. Okay. Where Kanye at? Dope him up, institutionalize him, just like his trainer said that they would do. Let's get him on camera apologizing. This is insanity. Look up the Kabbalah when you get a chance. Where's that book at? I just bought this book. It's called Sigmund Freud and the Jayish Mystical Tradition. Look it up when you get a chance. Straight up. This book right here. Yeah, let me do that when the light isn't on it. Insanity. T. Marie, that was not the real Kanye West. His face, voice, and demeanor was completely different. It was different. It's like when I look at Gucci sometimes. Gucci Mane, a rapper, is similar to when I look at Donald Trump. It's like we're human beings. Trust your human instincts. Something's off here. Right? Even his performance with Travis Scott was off. Something's off. How do you go from one thing to the next? It's like, come on, bro. We all can change. We all can have a change of heart. But dude, if you're saying things that are true and then you're coming back and taking back the true things that you said, I have a problem. I had somebody else, when I put the poll up yesterday, say, bro, you're saying that Kanye West said a lot of truth, He said that he loved the mustache man. Yes, if Kanye West said that he loved the mustache man and he's now apologizing for it, that means he's not being truthful. If he loves him, that's his prerogative. I don't love him. That's his prerogative. He can love whoever he wants. But if he's now lying and saying that he don't love him, that makes him a liar. I don't love the dude. I don't love the mustache man. But if the dude said that he does, that's his choice. That's bullying, bro. But anyways, man, again, I'm trying not to make these lives too long. I love y'all, man. Hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you think that was the real Kanye? Do you think he was on drugs? Do you think he was on dope, institutionalized, whatever? Hop in the comment section. Let me know. Hit the like button. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Once again, as a reminder, I got more clips on the way so we can continue to grow this platform. Follow my other channel called Didi Got Politics. You know what I'm saying? So I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Peace.